Hi, I'm Shauna Collins. I'm a woman of faith, a wife, a mom, a physician and public servant, a speaker, and an author. Some context.
Dr. Shauna Collins. At 15 years old, she dropped out of high school, but as a young adult, and by the grace of God, Shauna returned to school. And first, she went on to earn her GED, and then a college degree, and ultimately a degree in medicine from UCLA. She has treated over 1,000 overweight patients with her methods before she published her best-selling book, No More Dieting, and I can tell you it's very effective. Dr. Collins, I want to welcome you to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. The weight will be released because we're making forward progress at all times.
Of all the work I've been blessed to do, nothing means more to me than inspiring youth. An example.
The Village Nation is awesome, and I heard about them at a fundraiser that Susan Taylor, I believe, was holding. She's the previous editor from Essence.
Ma'am, I told you about getting diagnosed with a learning disability. It was a hard road. I failed Meditech. It held me for 17 years. That's how long it took me from the day I saw those doctors to the day that I got mine. Listen here, just don't give up and you will make it. Wait. This ain't me, but it was a funny picture on the internet. I just had to put it up here. Wait. Don't post anything on the internet if you don't want it to be seen. That's one tip I wanted to give you for free. $6 an hour, $20 an hour, $200 an hour. Last question. What is the difference between you and me? I heard it. So, what's your vision? Thank you.
And today,
I can't even do that.
I have cancer. I have
T-cell large granular lymphocytic leukemia. Here on out, I will call LGLL.
I am Dr. Shauna Collins. This is my cancer journey.
Listen to this jam. Hey, I like this song.
That's right.
Even if I have to stay in the car, I can go to the hospital with you, Sean.
Oh, what would be the point of that?
I can hold your hand.
That is my big sister. I love her so much.
You back? That song isn't.
Isn't that beautiful? I used to sing that. I used to jam to that all the time.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yes.
I used to wake up in the morning and gauge the busyness of my schedule, the weather, the crypto market.
Hold on a second here.
With LGLL, I get up and gauge my hemoglobin level. I can get an idea of where it's at based on how quickly and extensively I become short of breath simply moving about my house. This day was a really bad day.
Woman's in high demand in this place. So I be trying to stealth. Walking out of breath. Okay. Okay, good. Okay. Oh my goodness gracious.
Okay, we're back.
Now I can huff all I want. Okay, sit down. All right.
Not for long, because Stock, one way or another, whether it's today, whether it's Monday, you're finna get your transfusion one way or another. So one way, no matter what happens.
I think I'll have to beat up my local doc because it's more costly and more health risk to show up at an ER and be admitted just because you need enough blood in your dog. I'm gonna be like, no, but I really gotta catch my breath. What I wish is my desire that there's a standing order if my hemoglobin drops was below a certain point. But actually, as I talk, no, not necessarily, because depending on other factors, a person, excuse me, a person may have a hemoglobin above that certain point and still have no energy. Because sometimes
Discussion topic. I knew I needed a blood transfusion, but obtaining adequate treatment efficiently as an outpatient, particularly on the weekend, would be near impossible. Alternatively, I could report to an ER where I would have a much greater chance of being adequately treated, but it's much more costly, and I put myself at risk of infection because of my immunocompromised status and the COVID pandemic. Listen to our candid discussion.
even if it never goes to normal, I just need to be able to get through a day normally without leaning on,
Right.
right. It's a quality of life issue. If
Right.
you live with something, if you're going to live and you have to live with it and manage it, then at least be able to function. If you're a mom, you have kids, you have to work.
On weekends before LGLL, I'd plan family activities, some reading, but this weekend, I'm trolling for blood.
Yeah, I'm down for the transfusions. Meanwhile, I must get them. So the question is, try to pursue it outpatient versus inpatient, because I believe I'm going to have a much greater chance of coming out with enough blood that'll tide me over for a minute. However, these days, the hospitals are full of COVID and what I mean? You're at a higher risk of getting sick in a hospital than outside of a hospital. And then my immune system is compromised, so I'm putting myself at risk going in. But at the same time, I would have to chase down my doctor constantly, like 2 more units, please, 2 more units, please, like a drug addict, but with blood. I'm like, please, just 1 more hit. And and when I went to see him last time, and it was under 8, which is the criteria for it's under 8 or symptomatic anemia. I definitely had symptomatic anemia. We didn't have to wait for it to even get under 8. And it was under 8. And he's like, well, this is you. I'm like, boy, you better give me some blood.
Oh,
You ain't
Sean's like, you really want to see me?
I'm like, you ain't never seen
You ain't seen me yet.
I'm like, listen, I've been professional.
Sean.
I'm like,
Like, what?
yeah. I'm like, give me some blood. Give me.
Well, look, either you gonna give me some or I'm
gonna
gonna
take
some.
yours. I was like, no, I had to put my foot down. I was like, I'm not functional. Just because everybody just does 2 units. That's just a safe number. It's a standard. Everybody says the same thing. And it's like, could you really actually take a close look at my life, my labs? What I mean?
Don't just give me 2 little Skippy. That's like if someone's starving, you give them 6 crackers. Like, what's this gonna do?
Like, this might keep you alive. And they're like, well, you're used to starving. So that's really what he said to me. He said, but this is your baseline. I'm like, just because I've been feeling like crap for 9 months does not mean I should stay that way. Like, that's not a good reason. I had to push him. Don't tell me if my baseline is crap and I'm non-functional and I'm slightly below that. Don't say that I should just live with it because that's what I have been. No, when somebody's blood pressure is super high, I don't get it to just high. I take it to normal.
Right. So, I mean, even I know that. I'm not even
like, get me to normal. What? You have to be a squeaky wheel. You cannot leave the office without getting what you want.
Right, exactly.
So I'm like, should I just stick it out and just chase my doctor for the 2 units?
Yeah, maybe just tell him you need one today. Just make him
not in today. And the transfusion place is closed all weekend and they're closed on Monday. You know what I mean? This is what I'm talking about. It's like outpatient is like, it's like being stuck on a 405 traffic. It's like you go nowhere fast. You just wait and wait and wait and wait to only get 2 units. Like, I got 2 units. Was it at the beginning of this month or was it last month? I think it was even at the beginning of this month. So it's like, and then I need it again the same month. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't want to be trying to chase barely feeling okay. So I just have to pray, and which Demetric and I did pray, which was very helpful. That helped me. I was better by the time I got to you guys, because we did pray for a while. And I also realized that a big part of my heaviness is I went through a depression the last few days because I was in bed for 3 days. And
Right.
and I was just very depressed. And so I realized, but that's separate and apart from low hemoglobin, because I'm still huffing and puffing everywhere I go, no matter what my mood is. So that's a separate issue.
Right.
But that does, of course, it adds load to the elephant on your back when you have.
Mhm.
So, Don, real quick,
Yeah.
can you, if you're able to, can you expand or expound a little bit more about the depression? Because you're tiptoeing around it,
Yeah.
but there's something more specific that was kind of happening for you.
Yeah.
So if you don't, talking about that for a few minutes.
I realize I have to talk about it, even though it's, you guys know me, I don't want to, really. I really just have no choice, but because I can't carry the burden alone. Here it comes. I hate this. Hold on. It's gonna take a minute.
Let it out, girl.
I don't like being a source.
Mm.
It's gonna take a minute, you guys.
Mm.
I don't like to be a source of adding to anybody's workload. I know I'm not going to use the word burden, because I know we all love each other. We're not a burden to each other, but workload is workload. I don't want to be a source of that, number one. Number two, I don't like being vulnerable, and you guys know that too.
Mm.
Of course, I feel more secure when I feel strong. I don't like feeling powerless.
Mm. Mm. Mhm.
And I am right now.
Mm.
I have no control over what is happening in my body, except to pray, try to keep my faith up,
Mhm.
apply the knowledge that I've gained to know how to research and apply that, and do my best, in other words, just do my best, in other words. That's all I can do. I really can't change anything. All I can do is do my best based on what I know.
Mhm.
And then I can't even do that,
Mm.
because my energy is interfering with my ability to research, and I'm struggling to keep myself encouraged,
Mm.
because I do carry this burden alone for the most part.
Mm.
That's no fault to anybody else. It's because that's how I usually live. That's how I've been my whole life. That's just that is what has been my nature. I realized that I know I can't, because then I started, because when I'm down and I ain't got nothing to pick myself up, I pray, and I'm just laying there and just pray. And I don't, nothing in me really just wants to watch a talk, a Priscilla Shire or a
Mhm.
Stanley, even though those you always, of course there's always a good word, but it's just like, it's kind of more work in a way. I don't know how to explain it, but
I understand.
You have to analyze, and you have to work to,
it's like, I know I'm working to pick myself up, and it takes a lot of energy. It's like prayer.
Mhm.
It takes a lot of energy, and I don't have the willingness to push, or the physical
The strength.
Yeah. I mean, depression is just terrible, no matter what. No
Yeah.
matter what, under any circumstances. So add that to no energy. And I'm telling you, no emotional energy, no spiritual energy, and then no physical energy. So I have felt in despair the last few days and just depleted.
Mm.
When I prayed with Demetric this morning, I realized that the immense sadness is just carrying the burden myself. I don't go to anybody. I don't even go to Demetric. He has seen me boohoo, like ugly cry, 2 or 3 times in this last
Wow.
year, and it's only really been in the last 3 months, and it startles him because he literally in 30 years has never seen me boohoo, like, yeah.
Right.
And so and I, like I said, I don't know that I'm being that way or that I'm carrying it all alone until the burden has gotten too heavy for me. Collapsed in bed for a few days. What came out, what I realized is, when I hear woe is me from my husband, I feel like I have nowhere to go, because I'm like, if he's already woeing, he is very outward and I'm not. I'm very inward. And so when he's going on and on, number one, my nature is not to add to his stress, because I understand he's doing the bulk of this family at this time. And
Introducing Demetric, D, my honey. Man of God, husband, and father. Raised in South Central LA, in the heart of gang violence, rather than becoming a product of his environment, Demetric focused on mastering his God-given gifts and talents. Demetric became an entrepreneur and co-founder of Executive Sound Productions right in the heart of Hollywood. Hired for his first international tour at the age of 17, Demetric is a 40-year veteran in the music industry. I've been dancing to my honey's beats for a long time. One of the many things I love about Demetric is that he's his own man. In his youth, he decided he would never drink alcohol, sample drugs, get involved in the gangs, or get in trouble with the law. Never a follower, he was content being a loner. When he wasn't traveling, you couldn't find him on the courts, but you could find him in the airfields, or maybe on a train. We got married while I was pre-med, and then proceeded to have 2 boys, 2 years apart, by 2 unexpected C-sections while I was in medical school, which is another video in and unto itself. Whew, those were some rough years. My working up to 100 hours a week at times by default made D a work-from-home dad. But unstoppable as he is, D built a brand new studio with his own 2 hands from the ground up and continued full-scale music production from our home. In between all of the naps, feedings, messes, bike rides, frequent park visits, and other outings of the like. He also continued performing professionally with local artists. You go, honey. I can't get enough. But my honey has always been my strong support. And today is no different. Since I was diagnosed with LGLL and decided to address this cancer with a daily high concentration of antioxidants, my honey has adopted the responsibility of juicing for me 2 to 3 times a week to make sure I have my daily dose of what I consider a natural medicine. This is my husband. We'll be married 20 years in May, and we'll have been together for about, 25, but he's been chasing me for, oh my goodness, it started so long ago. So long ago. Let's see here, that would be 36 years ago when he first came after me. It took me a minute to honey, it's all relevant.
No, you mind if I mix this with
Do it.
this so you can...
Oh, don't. Oh, in a cup, but not in the jar.
Oh, you don't want to...
Yeah, because I do different things on different days.
Okay.
And sometimes we add extra juice to his juice. But anyway, just a little background on my honey. So this is my rock next to God himself. This man is my rock. So like I always say, he ain't perfect, but he's perfect for me. But he be fussing, y'all. He fusses like he has his own language. But anyway, that's another story. So I came here to talk about the juice. So this is my husband. We have this monster juicer here that my husband's arm is completely obscuring, and he'll take, as long as it takes, a couple hours. He goes shopping and he buys all the vegetables, and he cleans them meticulously, and he runs them through, and he does what he does. I don't know the process really, but when we're done, I don't know how much this is right now. I want to say, is this a gallon jug? I think it's a gallon jug. So the most important question is, what effect, if any, has a high intake of Demetric's juice daily had on my LGLL? Let's take a look at the first 6 months of my complete blood count laboratory results as I was ingesting approximately 24 to 48 ounces of Demetric's juice every day. For a detailed description of the medical terms that I'll be using, please refer to the video, What is LGLL? And see other videos for more lab reviews. Let's get started. On April 12th, 2021, I had some blood work done. These are the results of my complete blood count. It was brought to my attention that my lymphocytes are more than double what they should be. Normal is 850 to 3900, and as you can see, mine were about 10,000. This is LGLL. Here we have an abundance of large granular lymphocytes, T-cell lymphocytes. I adopted the regimen of ingesting a high concentration of antioxidants, primarily as the juice that my husband makes for me regularly. And I also eat a lot of raw nuts and fruit and berries and dark chocolate and things that are known to have a high amount of antioxidants. As you can see, over the period of 6 months of adopting this regimen without any medication whatsoever, my lymphocytes declined, and finally came into normal range where they are today, at least the last set of labs that I've had. This is showing about a 6-month period. Likewise, people who have LGLL have a condition, many, called neutropenia, meaning neutrophils, and penia meaning short amount or less than normal. And as you can see, normal is 1,500 to 7,800. And at the time of my leukemic diagnosis, I was 876. Now, when people with LGLL die due to LGLL, it's usually due to complications associated with neutropenia, infections, and so on. So it's important to get this number back up into normal range to decrease the risk of infection and death or morbidity. Over the period of 6 months, it went up a little bit in July, about the same, I guess, in August. We started seeing greater numbers. And then eventually we got into normal range. And if I'm not mistaken, my last set of labs still had my neutrophils in normal range. So this was over a 6-month period, again, doing nothing but ingesting juice and a lot of eating a lot of raw, unprocessed foods. My overall white count went into normal range. We started out of range because of those an abundance of the LGL cells, and finally came into normal range in July and just have stayed in normal range since then. That being said, the bane of my existence is my low hemoglobin, because it affects my energy and also my efficiency in living and my clarity in thinking. I have brain fog quite a lot, and just my body not cooperating with the desires of my mind. I'm a very active and hyper person, and I love to produce and create and accomplish and do lots and lots of things. And I get up, just ready to hit the ground running early in the morning around 4, and then oftentimes, within a few hours, I need to lay down for a while, which is terrible. This is totally unlike my usual self. So the juicing has not seemed to have had any effect on the hemoglobin. So the red blood, I recently found out that I am likely in a state of chronic hemolytic anemia, So I am trying to research and address that currently and see if there's something along the natural lines that can be done with that, rather than just going on to the oral chemo-meds, which I will do if need be. But first, I'd like to see if I can address it naturally. But as you can see, juicing and my intake of high antioxidant solid foods as well has not had much effect on my hemoglobin level. So at the time of diagnosis, it was 8.7, later on 9.3. So maybe, 10, that's great. I was traveling at this time, so I couldn't figure out for the life of me how I got it to 10. I was drinking a lot of store-bought juice, and I tried to recreate that at home. Once I got home to maintain this, I remember hitting this number and being very excited. But when I tried to recreate it at home, I was back to the low 9s at best. It almost makes me wonder if this could have been a technical error, because low 9s, high 8s, low 9s, mid 8s, low 9s. This is an outlier. So it just makes me wonder, could this be a technical error? Because really it's the only number that was ever at 10, and I was drinking a lot of store-bought juice because I was away from home and I was traveling. So in any case, what seems to be chronic hemolytic anemia is not improved by my regimen thus far, and so this is where my focus of research is at this current time. But make no mistake, Demetric is the unsung hero in my, or I should say, our cancer journey. And besides, he puts up with a lot. Making the best of 2020. Let's conclude our discussion.
And what came out with Demetric is, I need to lean on you because I'm emotionally dying right now. And so it was very good. And it opened the door because it was very comforting for him to hang out with me. And he stayed until I fell asleep. And even a couple of times I woke up during the night and I was like, do you have to pick your teeth so loud? But we have it like that. We have it like that. No, trust me. He bags on me. Don't feel sorry for him. But anyway, I did say that exactly because my eyes were still closed. I was like, what the heck is that? I was like, that's Demetric breaking his teeth. It's 2 a.m. And I was like, honey. And he was like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Leave it in there. Leave it in there.
He had made some good chicken. It's not his fault. But he'll come to me and say, honey, the school, school. And at this phase in my life, usually I take that right on. Okay, don't worry. I'll send him an email. Yep, give me that. I'll handle it. Okay, no problem. That's not a problem. I'm on it. Usually I'm that person. And now I'm like, I don't give a crap. Listen here. You tell that school. Matter of fact, just don't even respond. What are they going to do? School year is almost over. Like, seriously, parent conference teacher is coming up. I'm like, no. Doesn't matter how he's doing. School's almost over. Oh, God, forget me. I mean, that's where I'm at. I'm just like, I used to be that really good parent. And now I'm just like, hey, I don't care.
You're in energy saver mode and you're allocating. You're just like, no. No.
I'm like, no, seriously, I'm like, I'm not going to worry about that. So I don't know what's going to happen, but I'll tell you what's not going to happen. So,
John, what you not going to do?
What you not going to do is tell me anything about Daniel's school and about Daniel. Josh's thing, I got this thing, some absence. And Josh's like, I was 10 minutes late. They count you absent if you're not there when they do roll call or whatever. I'm like, listen, I don't know if you ditched that class or not, but make it right so they don't call me again. That was my solution. I ain't gonna worry about if you were there or not.
It's like your priority shifts because you realize you are one being and you have to allocate yourself. And it changes when you have like a plethora of time and what should I do today? And it's like
you can save the whales.
Yeah.
But right now, I'm like, you're on your own, okay? You can swim my cat.
I know.
Good luck.
So I'm feeling better spiritually, emotionally, but physically I'm still in trouble. What I didn't share was this day was my son's birthday. And with COVID and my suppressed immune system, I had to consider if I went to the hospital this day, I could check in and possibly not check out. I didn't want to risk that as a bad memory for future birthdays in my family's life, so I chose not to go to the hospital this day. But I did go the following day. Please join me in the next video as we journey along together through my 10-day hospitalization. You heard that correctly. Also watch, what is large granular lymphocytic leukemia, LGLL? In that video, I break down the details of LGLL. We talk about terms and definitions, diagnostic criteria, the pathophysiology, including some genetics, testing, what is going on a cellular level, and treatment options. So for a deeper understanding of what is LGLL, that video is a must. Please take the time to like, subscribe, comment, and share the material. See you in the next video.
And I can do this thing. I can do LGLL. I could do this, but only God can change the outcome.